Perfect, so as long as we stay plugged in and running, we should be good. It'll record the whole thing. No. With order party. I want to ask everybody to please join us in the pledge of allegiance.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and for all.
Nobody. Start with a couple of presentations. Gentleman here will be the first to present. His name is Jim Walker. He is the Penn State Watershed Association Vice President of the Neshaminy Watershed. He is a well of information on stormwater. Next is Wes Placement. He is with Tri-State Engineers. He's going to give an abbreviated MS4 introduction. This is Tom McCullough from the Board of Supervisors. Maggie Hogan from the Board of Supervisors. John Sorrente is the counsel for the township. Todd Savarese, the counsel for the authority. Paul Angermeyer is our board member, secretary. Timmy Selleck is our board member, treasurer. Savannah Boulder is in our office. We've all spoken to her. She's called. And Joe Broom is our director of operations. Mr. McCullough is going to start with some comments, okay?
Thank you, everyone, for being here. And we all regret that we were didn't have a big enough. We will be here.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Reason that this all started began probably 5 or 6 years ago. More than that. It was a mandate from the state of Pennsylvania, DEP, called MS4. Wes will go into that in much more detail, but basically this program requires municipalities to obtain a permit, develop and implement stormwater management that includes 6 minimum control measures. The cost of implementing this would be in several millions of dollars over the next few years. We had a choice. We had to evaluate whether we would do this as a tax or as a stormwater fee. If we did it as a tax, it would have to be done by your assessed value of your property. And that really wouldn't be fair, because you could have a house that's 70 years old that has the same amount of impervious surface as a house that's 5 years old. And the house that's 5 years old would be, based on tax assessment, would be paying probably double. So we didn't think that was fair, because new homes would be higher and it's just not equal. The other thing with a tax is it wouldn't take into consideration, it would have no consideration to the impervious surface that each property has, which contributes to runoff. The other problem with it is if we did it as a tax, all the nonprofits are tax exempt. We wouldn't be able to charge that. So that would result in the rest of us paying 27% higher. So knowing this, we learned that a stormwater fee is allowed to be collected by the municipal authority. We also had to evaluate the Township Public Works Department versus the Upper Southampton Municipal Authority. The authority is much better equipped and trained to do this kind of work. The stormwater system in our township, a lot of it is like 70 years old. The pipes are collapsing. It's causing all kinds of problems. We have to fix it. It's very expensive. The Township Public Works Department does not have the equipment or the manpower or the expertise in that type of work. So we decided to turn over the stormwater management system from the ownership of it, from the township to the municipal authority. And this was accomplished just, I think it was just finalized the end of last year. So That will be how it works. They will take care of all the stuff that has to be done. There's numerous projects that have to be done with the creeks. One of which was the project that if you saw going up Second Street Pike on the right in Tammany Park, that there was a big section of that creek that was, remediated, widened, dug out, to get all the silt out of it. It'll drain better, it'll help eliminate flooding. That was just the first of many projects. There's been a rumor floating around that this was to pay for the runoff from Bethany, the new development there, the townhouse. That's totally untrue. This was the first MS4 project, and it was planned long before the Bethany property was even for sale. Another rumor flying around is that we sold the stormwater system to Aqua. Also not true. We decided to transfer the stormwater system to the municipal authority because they are better equipped, as I mentioned earlier, and to do this kind of work. They are permitted to charge a fee, as we are not. We transferred the ownership of that for no money. There are many conditions on the transfer, just a few of which are all fees collected must only be used for stormwater projects. And the municipal authority cannot sell the stormwater system to anyone else. So Aqua is not in the running, and as long as I'm on this board, it never will be. These are the reasons why we handled it the way we did. There were numerous meetings, discussions, and negotiations during the past years, past probably several years, 7 years maybe. The Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to approve both the transfer and the fee schedule. And I'm certain that any reasonable person armed with the facts and facing the same situation would agree this was the best possible course of action. And with that, I'd like to turn the meeting back over to Barbara.
And I'm gonna pass that ball right to Jim Walter. He's gonna give you a presentation on.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Jim Walter. I'm the Vice President of the Chamonix Watershed Association. Most of you live in the Chamonix Watershed. I mean, it's the largest watershed in Bucks County, and about 2/3 of the people in Bucks County live in the Chamonix Watershed. I'm also a Master Watershed Steward trained by Penn State on how to deal with watershed problems, like stormwater. So I'm going to spend the night talking about stormwater and why it matters. We're going to answer the question, what is stormwater? Why is it a problem? And what can we do about it? You people, why is it back there? So you may want to turn the stairs. We have to talk about is water. The water that you drink every day has been around for millions of years. It constantly gets recycled through the systems on Earth. What happens is water evaporates off of our oceans, our springs, or things like that, up into the air. It eventually gets supersaturation and it falls down, either as rain or sleet, or as we're going to see on Sunday, lots of snow. When it hits the ground, it can do one of two things. It can infiltrate into the ground right here. Okay? Basically, it just travels down through the soil into what are known as aquifers. They're underground streams that move that water along, and it will come out in springs and streams and rivers and eventually flow into the ocean. The other thing that can happen is you get stormwater, water that runs off the surface into the lakes and streams and ponds and all that stuff. Our human activity is impacting how this water moves and how much water goes either in infiltration or in stormwater. So stormwater is the water that runs off lawns, driveways, streets, parking lots, houses during any precipitation event. And it goes into drains, which drain into streams and lakes and ponds and systems and things like that. Okay? So stormwater is a problem now because Pennsylvania used to look like this. We lived in Penn's Woods. 300 years ago, this state was 99% forest. A squirrel could walk from the Delaware River to Erie Canal or to Lake Erie without ever touching the ground. It was that heavily forested. Okay? Unfortunately, lots of Pennsylvania now looks like this. We've got all sorts of impervious surfaces. So those streets and buildings and stuff don't let the water go into the ground. It runs off. And the ratio that runs off is really dependent upon the level of development that you've got. You look at a forest, about somewhere 80 to 100%, all the water that falls in the forest actually into the ground. Doesn't run off. Only about maybe 10, 20% will run off of the forest. But if you look at a situation like Philadelphia, that's about 75% pervious surface, only about 10% of it permeates into the ground, and 80 to 100% of it is flooding off into the stream. And this creates problems. And you've probably seen this around. This is what a normal stream would look like. We have nice shallow banks entering the stream. When the water would rise, it would rise up along those banks, and everything would be fine. What we have is because we have so much water flowing through these streams, you get erosion. And you will see this type of erosion all through Bucks County. And that erosion is partially due to the fact that we have too much water in there, but also you see all this grass around here. Grass is lousy at holding soil together. It has very shallow roots. And yet we plant lots and lots of that. So flooding is one of the impacts that is caused by stormwater. And this is a picture we took a couple years ago down at Playwoodie Park, not too far from here. That's the Chamonix Creek. And you can see the roads all being cut off because of the stormwater impact. You may recall that a year and a half ago, we had a disaster up on River Road where a family or members of the family were killed when their car was overturned by stormwater running down River Road. So it has hazards associated with it, along with environmental. Bridges can be damaged. A lot of when these streams are flowing, they can erode the banks, pull down trees. Trees can run into bridges, damage the bridges. So there's infrastructure being impacted. And of course, if all that water flows off of your lawns and parking lots and stuff like that, it picks up oil, trash, and clippings, and check waste, and fertilizer, and pesticides, and all sorts of stuff, and it dumps it in our streams and our rivers. And these are pictures from Bucks County. So all of these things are impacting our environment. So what can we do about stormwater? Well, you can try to get stormwater on each individual property so it doesn't run off in the first place. And that can be accomplished by a number of ways. One of the things you need to know about stormwater is that plants are normally the solution to dealing with stormwater. But you gotta pick the right plants. Plants like grass over here have very, very shallow roots. They don't create pathways for water to permeate down through the soil. But you look over here at native plants, look at the roots on those things. They have deep roots. So oak trees, maple trees, a lot of your native flowering plants have deep roots that help direct the water down into the soil rather than letting it run off the surface of your lawn. One of the things you can do is build rain gardens, or they're also called bioswales, depending on how they're designed. They can stop runoff from parking. Now these are two lots over in Montgomery County. And what they've done is they've graded their parking lot so that the water runs into this vegetated area here in the middle. And it contains trees and native shrubs that help there's an overflow here because sometimes they can't handle 6-inch rain in an hour. You can't handle all that. So you have to have some. Here's another design over here. Again, trees and native shrubs and plants. Here's another design. This is from Philadelphia, where they really have a lot of impervious surface and they don't have a lot of area to infiltrate stuff. What they do is they do cutouts in their curves. So the water, rather than going directly into the drain here, goes down into this area here where they've got native grasses planted, which help soak up that water and push it into the ground. Here's another design. Water comes down, you have this little entranceway here. You got trees and small native plants in there that help soak up that water rather than having all of it. You also can do tree trenching, which has become very popular in Philadelphia, where the area underneath here is actually much larger. And the trees help soak that water down to the ground. Now, what you'll probably see a lot of out here are detention or retention basins. These are depressions that are built in to collect the water and hold that storm water there for a period of time to basically let the silt settle down, but also to hold it there so that it's more time to permeate into the ground. And typically, the old designs of these have been covered with grass, which isn't the best choice. And I suspect that many of you have seen these basins or have one in your neighborhood. One way to improve these basins is to plant native plants in them that have deeper roots that will help infiltrate that water into the ground better. It also provides seeds and nectar and habitat for native birds and pollinators. They can be quite beautiful if they're put together. They're designed. The other thing that we can do is along our streams, don't have grass up to the edge of the bank. We want to plant a period buffer. Trees, shrubs, and native plants along the sides of the stream to protect that stream from erosion. Okay. One of the things that you can do that can help immensely is don't put stuff down your storm drains. Don't put your oil down there, your antifreeze, don't put trash down there because it's going into the stream. Another thing you can do is build what's called a rain garden. It's kind of like those bioswales I showed you earlier, but you can build them off of your gutters from your house. Take that downspout, direct the water into the depression in the ground where you planted native plants. And the native plants will help soak up that water and direct it into the ground. And these don't have to be very big. This is a rain garden off of the downspout, off of this house, probably about 10 square feet. You don't need a lot of lawn to do this. Here's another one that was built out in a neighbor's front yard. And he was collecting downspout water from 2 different downspouts and they're running it down this little gravel path into his rain garden. Here's a family that kind of went a little bit nuts and built a great big rain garden, big any size. And you can fill them with really pretty plants. They're like a garden. They are a garden. Another thing you can do is to reduce the amount of your lawn that's actually grass and put in more native plants, put in trees and shrubs and things like that. Diminishing the amount of grass and putting in native is going to improve the infiltration into the ground. And you're also creating habitat at the same time for butterflies and birds and all that. Another thing you can do is put in a rain barrel. What the rain barrel does is it collects the water coming out of your downspout, holds it for a period of time, and then you use the water in that rain barrel to water your gardens, water your plants. You can water your lawn with it. The whole idea is to reduce the amount of water that's running off immediately and store it for a period of time. There are lots of resources out there to help you with this. I understand from your system here, you get credits for doing things like this in your own property. Your township EAC can help you in how to build and design some of these things. Bucks County Conservation District is a resource in the county that will help you with all of these types of things. The Penn State Master Watershed Stewards, all trained by Penn State. We are local. Our office is at the Wrightstown Grange. We have the call-in line for help. We're always there at Grange Fair and stuff like that, so we are a resource. Penn State actually has a huge amount of data available. There are webinars done by Penn State. You click online, see a half-hour webinar about how to build a rain barrel, how to build a rain garden, what native plants should I be planting in my yard, all that kind of stuff. There are also on water quality all through the Penn State Flex. And certainly not least is the Chamonix Watershed. We are a resource to help you and help you how to deal with stormwater on you. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim.
Yes, you can do it underground basis. That requires a lot of work and less permits, but these things don't require fire. What thing is underground? The other is typically a safe place. But even those that don't help you. Most people today do this. Every one of you covers so much more than you can bring. And they don't do it. And they come in. It's actually a big fall. Right. They're the United States. So that is all based on the percent. Yeah. So two things have been mentioned that I think. It's still in with the crap. Anything, you know, weed, litter, all that stuff still in the forest. And after a certain period of time, it happens just like the impervious surface. Unless you have it. They don't say they're still. Favors are a little bit different because it's really different from yeah, there are some designs that work much better than others.
I think it was 2 months too late. It would have been nice to have you there and say, this is what we, here's how you can help. Yeah. What we want to know, I think, you know, a lot of us is, who's gonna measure and tell us what impervious surface we have? How is that gonna be determined? That flyover was done, drone flyover was done, a drone flyover was done several years ago. Probably 3 or 4 years ago, when the conversation between the township and the authority started. So we have a measurement from a drone for every parcel in Upper Southampton Township. That's what I think a lot of people need to know. Okay, if you would like to see yours, please call us, give us your address, or email us if you wanna go on our website and there's a click there, clickable link. We will get that flyover data for you so that you can look at it. Anybody disagrees with their flyover data, or if you have something you believe is pervious, that we have marked as impervious, tell us about it. There's a form on there that's called an appeal form. So fill out that appeal form, we will answer it. If we can't answer it, we will involve the engineer. Our guys were out at 3 properties today, taking a look at properties because people had questions. So please get in touch with us. You were next, sir?
I just have a couple of quick questions, and I think that a lot of people might have the similar questions,
Okay,
so I'm trying to throw some out there. The letter that was sent out that we received from the township, I think it was right toward the end of the year,
correct.
which I think everybody has, that saw that.
Right.
So this reads that effective January 1, 26, we're gonna be doing repairs and upgrades, and we're gonna fund it with a fee.
Correct.
But the first bill I got was for fourth quarter.
But that's for your consumption. That's not for stormwater.
No, my stormwater $42.
I know it is. It's your stormwater fee for the first quarter of 2026. The bill on there for water and sewer was for your consumption. If you got a bill on January 1st, that was for your consumption for September, October, and November. We read in the beginning of December and we bill you January 1st. So we bill behind on consumption. We're billing with the quarter on your.
You're billing ahead?
We're not billing ahead, we're billing for the current quarter.
It's all about impervious surface, right?
Correct.
And when you have square footage measurement, let's say for argument's sake, I'm in the 2,000 to 4,000 square feet. And the woman next to me was 2,000 to 4,000 square feet. I have a 1/4 acre property. She has a 1 acre property. Would she pay more than me?
No,
She should pay less than me.
she should pay the same as you because she falls in that 2,000 to 4,000 square foot category
Right, but
of impervious surface.
so from a percentage, for instance, I live in the township, both of my daughters live in the township.
Okay,
My house is like 22% impervious.
okay,
My daughter's 14.9% impervious.
okay,
There's a much larger property.
okay.
She's paying $52. She can't be in here because she had to go outside the fire deal. She's paying $52 a quarter. I'm paying $41.
Then something's wrong with her impervious surface.
No.
You're saying the impervious is the
She's
same size.
4,000 to 5,000 square feet,
Okay,
but she's got 27,500 square feet of land.
okay. And this gentleman just explained how water runs off of that grass. And we know that it runs off of your impervious surface. We're basing the fee on impervious surface, not the size of your property. Because as Mr. McCullough explained, if we were going by the size of your property and we did it by an assessed value, people like your daughter who have this big property would be paying twice as much as you're paying.
But wouldn't it be based on the ground?
It is, grass is pervious, but it doesn't run off the way that,
What if you had an acre flower farm? And it was all native wildflowers, you would still consider that not,
no, what I'm asking you to do is appeal the rate. That's what I'm asking you to
that
do.
doesn't fall into your rate.
We're going by impervious surface, okay? That's how the rate is set. If you're saying of my pervious ground, I have all this stuff that is absorbing water, we're asking you to appeal your rate. Let us come take a look. We're asking the public to work with us. I know you didn't get a lot of notice, and I apologize about that. We did hold 3 public meetings. We had very little attendance. Because you don't announce them. You don't say on our website.
Oh, what am I supposed to do? Touch every day to see if something goes up? Yeah, you're gonna put in.
Multiple bills, one spot for.
And you can put one sentence on it that says there'll be a meeting on such and such a date.
Was that on our bill?
No, it was.
Southampton.
Yes, it does. We'll
They're
never,
full for box crackers.
No.
I've seen all the violations are all from me.
no,
Southampton had no violations.
it will go nowhere other than Southampton and the money collected.
Because I saw that, I was like, I don't think
Nothing
this
but-
happened for me.
All right, listen, we're gonna have a question and answer period at the end. We have some other people who are gonna speak. Wes, do you wanna give your their abbreviated. But he wants to talk about,
This is not going to end well.
No, it's not.
It's not, because when I was outside, it was not great.
But we're gonna have that notes. Everybody wants the notes. Or-
So if you're in here, you want to sit back here?
Yeah. I mean, that's literally for the entire week. This is what we were getting. You know what's interesting?
I know.
Road, lawn, whatever.
If everybody would just silence.
First of all, you've heard the term MS4. I'll explain what MS4 is. Someone in the back is saying shout. MS4 stands for municipal separate storm sewer system. Nothing magic about it. That's just the acronym that we came up with. It's not targeted for Upper Southampton or Lower Southampton or Northampton. This is the whole state is involved in it. It all started because of the blue crabs in the Chesapeake Bay. The Chesapeake Bay is filling up with silt from the Susquehanna River. And somebody thought it was a good idea to do it with the whole state. So that's how this happened.
How long is this bill gonna be on our water bills? It's gonna eventually go away? Or is it permanent?
That's the authority. Pieces of flooding, the damage of infrastructure to property, woods to water. Permit non-compliant. Fines for the township or authority or both. Don't want to have that. Benefits of stormwater management, reduces best solutions. Diversify, enhance the community, align with community goals, which is protecting public health, improving aesthetics, and improving recreation. Permitting, that was brought up earlier. 5 years ago, we applied for permit, the NPD yes permit, approved on March 1st, 2021. It expires February 2026.
We had to renew it, which we did, we set that thing up, has been renewed. The main condition of the permit involves removal of sediment, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Now, they were quite nice, and they said, if you can remove the sediment, that'll count towards removing the nitrogen and phosphorus. So we don't have to worry about any chemical treatments. They mentioned the, control measure, this is in the permit. Public education, right now. Public involvement, like to be involved in this type of thing. Illicit discharges, dumping, the washing machine water in storms and stuff, or onto your property when you run on. Construction stormwater is a big one. When construction goes on, it's deep, it rains, the dirt flows right on. They have certain devices that try to prevent that, silk fence, silk sock and stuff. One thing we would ask the public, to get public involvement, if you drive by a construction site and you see the silk fence is down or the dirt is piled over the silk fence is coming up, call the authority, call the township, tell them that, because that's illegal. We do inspections, but our inspectors will only be one place at one time. We'll do that. Post-construction stormwater, that's the type of basins, and such like that. That's, they get inspected, but every year, maybe 2 years on that, to make sure they're functioning properly. One of our inspectors from the insurance firm goes out and looks at every basin. There's 88 of them in the township. There'll be more as more construction goes on, and make sure that they're functioning properly. And municipal operations, they do stuff in the garage. They have change the oil, change the antifreeze, and run under the ground. They have flushing systems and stuff inside their building. You see it. It flows into a separate storm through a drain, separated, and then out to the stream. Takes all of the movements that would happen inside of a garage. These streams are impaired. Knowing the streams, Southampton Creek over on the left-hand side, Mule Creek on the right-hand side. So the tributaries coming through. What we have done is started work tearing apart. There's no 500 feet of stream. If anybody has been in Camden Park and seen it, that's when the work started. We're going to continue it. The township north of us on those creeks doing the same thing that we're doing here. They're supposed to do. I can't guarantee they are. They're supposed to. Imagine there's some townships in Carbon County that aren't doing anything.
I have a quick question. Will this information be on the site or not? Like these,
Yeah, we'll post this talk on the site.
and these slides will be on there?
Yes, the slide.
Thank you.
And working the Southampton Creek, Davisville Road, down to basically the pond area that's. Traveling over the line. This township farm. The goal of this thing, to move 10% silt. And the calculation of volume, standard calculation, as to how much sediment is coming from Southampton Township from our own main area. It's all based on this and that. These roads and stuff like that. You have to move 10% of it in the first 5 years of the permit. So, how are they measuring? Well, it's a good question. It's mathematical. It's calculated. It's calculated. That's calculated. It's calculated. Done by you. But by us, we do that stuff to the agency. Basically, we said we have to do 800 feet and 500 feet, these calculations. That's kind of. This was mandated by the state, you mentioned earlier, right? EPA. EPA, so are there any federal funds or state funds that our township is looking for to obviously take some of that burden on the tax? We're looking at grants.
The township is always looking at
Do we know,
any project.
do we know roughly what the collected amount will be on this tax based on the number of households we have and the businesses that are going to be paying the tax for fiscal year 2026?
The, estimated collection, the estimated billing of the stormwater fee for this fiscal year is $736,000. And we will be keeping separate, reconciliations of that money. What's billed, what's owed, what comes in, and then how that money gets spent.
And
It will-
that money is then paid to that municipal authority?
It is paid to the municipal authority by way of your water bill.
Who is the municipal authority?
The municipal authority is
That's going to be doing all the projects.
that it's the same as your water and sewer department.
I have a
So that's
question.
Upper Southampton.
Of the Southampton Municipal Authority, yes, sir.
Just doing the budget.
We are. The municipal authority is. No, it's going to be, it's all monies that are received for stormwater will be spent on stormwater.
You have the staff right now that handle these projects, you get to hire people.
Now, it's going to be handled in-house by our current
You're
staff.
not gonna hire any different place to do this.
We do not foresee hiring anyone at this point.
I don't understand. I thought the municipal authority was not the township.
We're
So
not,
What's the difference? Can you
we
explain?
are the water and sewer authority. We are a municipal authority. We fall under the umbrella of the township. The township board of supervisors created the municipal authority as a separate entity. We take care of water and, remove, sanitary sewer, and now we're handling all the stormwater.
So it's the water and sewer department.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yes, correct.
And authority has its own board, budget, separate staff.
Was created back in 1946. Been around for water bills, we've been receiving. Still be receiving.
Correct. They are. No, every parcel, every single parcel that has any impervious surface whatsoever is receiving a bill.
Including commercial.
Correct.
Are you guys helping anything out to any contractors or?
Not at this time. Not at this time. It may happen in the future. If we have to replace a 4-foot storm pipe, we might need a big excavator that we don't have. That could happen. That happens with the municipal authority at times. We have a water main that's, in the middle of Street Road or something like that, and we need, more people. It does happen. It's not often.
First on Southampton, Hammond Park. At this one.
You said this was state mandate? Okay. Right. State mandate. But the gentleman who asked you if the townships worrying us or on the other side just for doing any of this, and you said you didn't know, what, are they gonna be fined if they don't do any of this work?
Yes.
Fined by who? The EPA?
State.
By the state? And you said even like all the parking lots up and down Second Street Park, Giant and all, they're all involved in this as well.
Yes, they are.
That's a lot of money that's gonna be coming in.
$736,000.
Is there any more
Yeah.
credits?
I'm sorry?
Any other credits?
there are other credits. If you look on our website, or if you want to give me your address before you leave, I will, I can send you the list. We have an illicit discharge credit, we have a structural BMP, a rain barrel credit.
French drain.
Call the office, you know, we're happy to talk to you.
Is attending the meeting required?
It's 13%. Wait, control down Center City, do you like rainwater off the roof of that?
Mhm.
They use that to flush the toilet.
Yeah. Grain roofs are part of our credits as well. I'm sorry.
You see where 15%.
If you'll see your stormwater fee and you'll see your credit directly beneath it with a minus. sign.
For putting our address on that page.
Correct.
Okay.
And that would be good for next year too.
Well, it's good for 1 full year.
Oh, so we'll have to redo it again, or you won't have
Correct.
it?
We'll have another MS4. We won't have another one of these. We'll have another MS4. Sorry, I mean, I like you guys, but dangerously close to my bedtime.
Your
So-
fund is that their stormwater mapping system, credit for like 30%.
That's a structural stormwater credit.
Can you explain like, or give example of, the type of system, for example, if, individual has, you know, a dry well drain, would that fall?
It could. It would depend on how it is installed and it would probably require an inspection. Anybody who has been mandated by the township to put in a structural, stormwater management system, we are offering that credit.
So if it's already, you know, in existence, then it doesn't matter?
Right, you let us know, and if you can confirm with the township that you have actually installed this and it was inspected, we will give you that credit.
Would some township folks come over, let's say I
Possible.
call, let's say, this one guy, would I just have to call and say, hey, you know, come over, do it, scan the
Right.
soil, or whatever. and-
Right, I'll go back to the appeal process. Fill out an appeal process, or give us a call and tell us you think you're, eligible for the 30% discount because of this system. Our guys will come out. Joe, these two right here.
Reason I'm saying is the system is covered, with the, by the.
Well, the other thing is that the township would have record of it. Okay.
Every year you have to do that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Do you have information on like? Strike order.
We have not set parameters on rain barrels. We've already given people credits for the rain barrels that have bought the rain barrels from the township, or that have shown us a picture of a rain barrel. We can't have somebody putting a gallon trash can at the end of their downspout saying, I got a rain barrel. You know what I mean? So, but I also don't have a problem with somebody going to Home Depot and buying a trash can and cutting a hole in it, put their downspout in it, and spout at the bottom. It's a rain barrel as far as I'm concerned. So we're gonna have, in cooperation with the Environmental Advisory Council of Upper Southampton Township, we are gonna hold a rain barrel workshop to teach people how to build them, how to use them, how to maintain them. And we're gonna do that probably in March. On-site sewage? No, that on-site sewage handles your sewage, not your stormwater.
If you have two rain, you get 50% off.
You do, 30% is the max, just so you know. You're welcome.
Take people to it underground.
Yeah, I'm,
I think a lot of people here love what Jim said. What? I think we all like to see things bring. We don't want to bring.
Right.
Want to, but I think everyone here is really asking how you're assessing these fees and how fair it is. That's how I feel.
we assess these fees.
Barrel, people who on-site underground basins
The maximum is 30%. The maximum is 30%. So if there's two rain barrels in place and they're each holding 55 gallons, that's a 30% credit. And so is a underground system.
4,000 houses, 50 gallons in a rain barrel, that's 200,000 gallons, that's a quarter, or a third of an Olympic swimming pool, that's nothing. That's not enough. Like, this is not, we're trying to calculate these calculated measures, but we can't tell where we're sampling, and we don't even know how much our siltation has gone up over the past so many years. Like, what's the tonnage of silt in the Neshaminy Creek or in Mill Creek from us? We're not able to, like, where's your sample points upstream of Upper Southampton? Where's your sample point downstream to tell us that we're actually the problem?
Yeah, if it's above us, well, damn, this is fancy.
We're told that the water streets are not.
But there's no monitoring of it. How do we know?
Hold on. Where's mine? Oh, think that there's no monitoring, there's nothing to measure, and all. That's just natural.
And we don't have any representatives of those agencies.
No, there's no one here from the federal.
But he makes a good point. If the township above us isn't doing anything, that silt's just gonna flow back in. It's gonna be a continuous problem for us.
And the amount of siltation that comes from Upper Southampton is based on just Upper Southampton. So let's say it's 100,000.
But if it keeps flowing down and it keeps filling up, it's gonna go on and on and on.
That's why every council.
But you just said, if they're not doing it, and you don't know that they are, that's how you said it. What good is it that we're doing it? Not that I got anything against the environment. I don't have anything against the I'm just saying.
People with other townships too, I think they're trying to do their best. I don't know why you're blaming that.
Because if it's gonna continue, go down, the still piling in.
Yeah.
What do you, what, it shouldn't be.
We still got a couple of things. Hold the questions.
I went over.
Camden Park, which is pretty good in Mill Creek. This is what it looked like prior to the working time. Bank was basically straight up and down, largely there, a lot of those plants were not, native species. This is what it looks like now. The banks are. Said. Banks for the. Next for renewal, we have a new permit. We got submitted on December 30th, and it took 3 years to get the first permit. It took about 2 months to get the second permit. That's the government. That's the final report. Demonstrated we have done at 5 years. All the requirements basically of the previous permit were the same. So 6 areas we talked about this. And we had to use another 10% the next time. This is what Southampton Creek looks like. You see there are banks that are vertical on there. It's flow, there's a road to that. There's trees flowing down into it, backs it up. Such. Questions on what MS4 is.
I was, answer I
was given about that was, if it's a dirt driveway, it's permeable. If it's a gravel driveway, it's impermeable.
Yeah.
But what's the difference? They said, the answer given to me was, but a car runs over it and it packs it down. Well, it's packing down the dirt in a similar way to packing down on top of gravel. So how do I appeal that decision? My understanding is that it was that decision that gravel is not dirt, and that's why, was made by the zoning board. So I would question what expertise the zoning board had on it.
I've argued that. Story. Typically, it's line. Is the pool considered impervious? That runs long. It is considered impervious. It's probably. Side, the keeping side conversations, you know. Not at all.
So as I said, I live on Pushmore Road at the base of Mill Road. You can see the base of Mill Road. Because Pushmore Road runs the way, both directions to Mill Road. So, well, I'm kind of like the base of runoff for Plaza Farm. Because every time there's a decent thunderstorm, my yard, my house is underwater. So I get, every time when I first moved in here, literally rain. With my garage door, totally door, back door, that was every time it rained. So I've since been able to divert the water off the side of the house. But my question is, with the money that's collected, is there something that can, and they've done work on drains, they put a swale behind the house and all that. Is there something that is planned to divert the water before it gets down to the base of Melrose on Pushmore and into my driveway, my house?
Yeah, I don't know that I have that on my list. But more at Melrose?
Pushmore, yeah. It just runs that, you know, if I'm away on vacation or something, and I hear that it's raining in Southampton, I'm on my ring camera. And I look at the ring camera, and there's a storm drain right in front of the house. And I'm fine as long as I see a swirl. As soon as that swirl stops, I know my house is flooded. So that's the kind of feeling you have when you're away on vacation, because we all go on vacation in summertime, we get thunderstorms in summertime. So if paying this fee will stop that, I'll pay it tonight. But, you know, I just, you know, well, listen, from what I found out over the years, talking to neighbors who have been there for longer than I have, but where my house is, someone once told me, oh, my kids fish there. So it was the watering hole provided for farm. So I'm built on a pond. So, you know, is there a way to divert, or is there a plan to divert?
Well, one thing we can do for you is get our camera crew out there. We can camera that drain, make sure that that drain is open.
Yeah, well,
And that's where we'd start.
it fills there, but there's also a drain behind the house that's connected with.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many nights I've been out there with boots on, hip deep with a
Right.
rake, clearing that drain.
Right.
Just for all the runoff from
Right.
the trees. You know, I try and keep it as like, I go off of my property behind my fence, I cut the grass, I keep it low.
Right.
To try and keep the debris out, but
Right.
I can't do the whole neighborhood.
Right.
So, it's also the size of the pipe. Exactly.
Yeah.
Our guys will come out and take a look at it, and
Okay.
in due time, we'll have the representative from the engineering firm come with them. We'll see what we
Who's
can
the
plan.
engineering firm?
Tri-state engineer,
Down
right down the
Road?
street, yep,
Yeah. Cody Spatio?
Yep.
Cody and John, Genevieve, we hear from them, right, and Nicole, go ahead.
Okay, I'm personal friends with Cody, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
um,
okay, yeah, well,
but-
he bailed, just so you know, he
You bailed?
bailed out, he
Right.
bailed out of here tonight.
Really?
Someone ran 24/7.
Yeah.
Then go to Melbourne. They put up the berm and actually down some kind of wall. Deep ground one coming through. That made a big difference.
Yeah.
Again, you never do it.
My property is free. Literally, if it was drizzle. One time I had some guy would see the water coming up from the ground had sheen to it. So I pointed down the road a little bit on industrial, because I back up to industrial highway. I said, right down there, he's got dumpsters that are exposed, he's got, barrels that are exposed, so there's runoff. But, that's since been better, but I still have water. And that's, so like I said, I'll be happy to pay whatever the fee is, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. Will somebody notify me that they're
Yes, I
coming
wrote your address down, we'll let you know when we're gonna get out there, okay?
my number?
I have, wrote down 1324 push, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ask you one more question. These fees set, they're not gonna say they go up.
I do not foresee any imminent change to the fee schedule, because the intent is to do work with what we collect, okay? So if we can keep it, that we don't have any huge jobs, and as Mr. Torrente said, township and the authority is always looking at whatever grants we can get, and we're pretty successful at it. So, we're gonna do what we can do. There's not as much money available, believe it or not. The DEP has all these unfunded mandates. Do this, do that, pay us $20,000 a year, for clean, safe drinking water, whatever that is. Our water is safe to drink, but we have to pay them $20,000 a year. As long as we can keep those fees in check, and they're not giving out a lot of money for stormwater right now. They're all focused on lead and copper. So, we're doing what we can, we do our best, and as I said, we're pretty good at it. Give us a chance.
Do you know what I was going to do?
My question is, it said about the runoff goes into the sewer. Right? Stormwater goes into the
Yep.
sewer. Now you have a sewer fee and a stormwater.
It's two different sewers.
How's it going to two different sewers?
But the sanitary sewer is sewage. That's
Yes,
not
yes,
exposed, that's
right.
a different
And that gets
sewer.
pumped down to Philadelphia.
Correct. The stormwater that's a separate stormwater system, as
Gets
you said
diverted.
before, it gets diverted to streams.
Now Philadelphia's still charging that much money?
Philadelphia fees go up every year. Double digit every year. Yes, ma'am.
They should pictures of the creek over there. The park.
Mhm.
The creek. It said work was done on that to help alleviate the stormwater management. How was that paid for?
I believe that the council got a grant for some of that, didn't they?
Now, I sent an email and I said, what are stormwater management projects already completed last 2 years?
Right, I don't have any,
The answer was not.
well, I don't have we don't have an answer for that, because
So
we
the
didn't
work
do
in
that.
town park was not stormwater.
It was stormwater management, ma'am, but we are a separate entity, okay? So we don't have the answers to what the township did prior to us taking
Now,
over.
this is an email that was sent to
I understand that, but we don't have knowledge of what projects they did.
So the township did the work in town and park
Yes,
And
without your knowledge.
Can I answer your question? Township, you can work in town and park. While ago.
It's still a project that was completed. That not.
stormwater projects were under the realm of the township at that.
And how about people that drain their pools into the street?
It's illegal.
People do it on Sundays, so that the town, I've been over to the township to discuss this with them. And they said, if you see that, call us.
Mhm.
But people do it on Sundays when nobody is there to,
Take pictures.
Please
I
take
was told unless I'm willing to go to court myself with the pictures, there's nothing that can be done.
I've been called to people's houses and met the Southampton Police Department there because somebody was,
So if I see them drain their pool on a Sunday. I
there's a
can call the
township manager,
police.
there's a township manager, he's like,
Investigates it, writes up a report, follows up on it, makes sure it's remediated, and then that gets reported to the state. And as part of our annual full report that's come every year, with West. So that's what happened.
I was told, unless I'm willing to go to court and testify myself, nothing could be done. Some council told me. My community, literally. Fix it, you know.
okay,
When it rains, my front yard gets complete. Who allows 6 feet? The guy up the street has a bed, I am not lying, it is a pool inside my house. He's got it in his yard. How does it get fixed?
and the other one has 5 folks down the street.
How does it get
So, maybe they would put up without permission. I don't know. Do that. 2, I don't know how big the property is. Maybe they've been there for, ever. Okay, but it may have been done without permit. I don't know how big the property is. Can't take it. So, that's the case that, you know, wanting.
Someone didn't drive by.
But if
90%
someone,
They got a cease and desist.
but if the township, hold on, if the township doesn't know about it,
But when they did the flyover that drone.
Well, then they're being assessed on that, on what's on their property.
Okay, but all the workers driving down my house. Because they have 6 buildings.
Yeah, township issue.
Literally trickles down. Somebody gets rest. Every bill.
I'm sorry? Yes, ma'am. You had a question there? Not really, can cover that much. Right, so the plan is to do the project one at a time, and we will save a ton of money because our staff will do it, we will not be contracting it out. So we're gonna, you know, attack what we can attack, yes. The authority will, the authority with the, under the guidance of the township engineers who know where the problem's are. And that's why I'm taking people's names and writing down their issues, so that if the township engineer is not aware of it, we can make them aware. And obviously, these things will be, handled on a severity basis. Well, people can drain their swimming pool, but they're supposed to drain it into their own grass, they're supposed to dechlorinate. We have, when we do our hydro flushing twice a year, we have to put dechlorination pads on those hydrants and take that chlorine out of the water before it hits the street. And people are supposed to be doing that as well. I'm sorry. Yeah.
They were talking about, data plan
We absolutely will, and we will put it on our website.
I know I have one thing to I have a lot of stuff. It's gonna be a fucking nightmare. It's always been.
Because more people with questions, so.
Anxiety.
Yes, sir.
Is there time frame where you'll have all?
Yeah. We're working on it. Just be patient with it, okay? I promise you, we're not gonna sit on it, okay? Just give us a timer, expecting a little bit of snow on Monday too.
Project is finished.
Yep.
Keep going.
I doubt the projects that are ever gonna be finished, to be perfectly honest. You know, there's always work to be done. Yes, ma'am. You're paying for this quarter, you're paying for the first quarter. Well, if you get a bill in January, she also gets a bill in January, if you get the bill in April. You get a bill every 3 months. Okay, so when she gets her March bill, that'll be her first bill for this year. Yes, she's gonna pay,
the
her
back end.
first quarter bill will be billed in March. Okay, her second quarter bill will be billed in June. No, she's paying for the first quarter. We bill consumption, we bill every single month, but we have 3 cycles, 3 different spots in town. You're at cycle 1 if your account number starts with a 1, 2, 3, etc. Okay? So we bill you 4 times a year. We bill everybody 4 times a year, but we bill every month because we send out over 2,000 bills a month. So the people who get billed in February will pay their first quarter stormwater fee in February. They'll pay their second quarter stormwater fee in May. And 3 months later, the third. Everybody's gonna pay 4 quarters of their stormwater. Yes,
Are commercial lots paying the same rate as residential lots?
they are.
So we didn't look at like percent coverage for them being so much. higher.
It is, it's based on their impervious cover,
Right, but it's not percentage, it's just solely on the amount.
based on the amount of person. Yes, ma'am.
You said that the money raised is gonna complete the projects by the township's employees.
By the
The
authorities employees.
Right.
Correct.
Is their salary being taken out of that money as
Yes,
well?
it is. Somebody's gotta pay them, they're not gonna work for free, right? We are, but they're working on water and sewer projects.
Yeah.
You know, we started hiring people 3 years ago. There's no intent to hire anyone else. We started hiring people 2 years ago, I guess.
2 years.
In order to have them trained in pipe work, in water and sewer, and it'll transfer to storm. They have spent upwards of $200,000 on stormwater management projects, okay? They'll have basins that they'll be required to be under an operations and maintenance agreement for those basins. Everyone in that development will also be subject to this fee, everyone.
I just didn't know there was.
Yeah.
Right, develop.
Yeah.
I think the conservation any disturbance of the floor, requires them to apply for the same permit. And the permit will then require them to have underground basins. I'm not sure what the kids say. I'm not sure what the kids.
Folks, thank you very much for coming. I know we didn't get to everybody. I'm sorry that people that couldn't accommodate.
Publicize the next meeting.
I beg your pardon?
How will you publicize the next meeting?
We will send a blast email to everyone. It'll be on our website, it'll be on the township website, we'll put a note on the bill.
So if you know,
business